Hello again. Well, this is my first walkabout of the year after a long, dreary winter. Feels great to breathe the warm air again and blow away the cobwebs. Now, I've already walked a couple of miles to get to where I am at present, which is the old coach road, a public bridleway between Lincoln and Burton Village. And I'm heading to a place that I've wanted to visit for quite a while. I'm going to see the long abandoned ruin of Nettleham Hall. Well, that's the plan. Anyway, I might not get to see anything at all. It might be inaccessible, it might be fenced off, but whatever, we'll find out together. Now, I've reached the end of the old coach road and I have to try and cross the busy A15. Now, the articulated lorries are normally bumper to bumper, but as luck would have it, it's not that busy today. Now, from here, I need to be heading to Riseholme Road. There's a turning up on the right, I'm not sure how far, but this is pretty boring, so I'll see you when I get there. This is Riseholme Road, and there's an agricultural college somewhere up ahead, and according to the map I need to follow this road which leads to Hall Lane. Now, I don't know how far away Hall Lane is. It doesn't look that far on the map, but then again I'm walking. This is Riseholme College, and this footpath should lead to Riseholme Hall. Now, Riseholme Hall is an impressive early 18th century country house. It's just about visible from the main road, but it'd be nice to have a closer look. Well, the sign on the gate says that the campus is closed, which I fully expected, to be fair, because I'm filming this at the weekend. But I'd hoped to have a look at Riseholme Hall. It's a large mansion, as you can see, surrounded by lakes. It was formerly the residence of the Bishop of Lincoln, but it's now part of the college. The building is set well back from the road, but I'll try and get it on camera. There's Riseholme Hall as seen from the main road. Now, the zoom quality on my trusty old camera at this distance is going to be pretty terrible, so I will take a photograph.
Hello there. Could you please direct me to Nettleham Hall? What? It's miles away? Oh, thought so. Thank you.
I'm sure they're only joking. Well, at least there aren't any hills. Here's an information board. Tells you about Riseholme Hall, the church, and about a monastery and medieval village that once stood here. But this is what's got me excited. Church Lane leads visitors up to the Grange de Lings, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. The path leads to an ancient burial mound. Ancient burial mound, now that's something that I have to see, but how far away? Now, I've no idea where or how far away this burial mound is. All I know is this is going to be one hell of a long walk. Beck Cottage. It looks pretty deserted. I guess it belongs to the college. Now, I'm not going to have a nose around though. The last time I thought a house was empty, a man appeared and told me to go forth and multiply. At least I think that's what he said. This is St Mary's Church. Now I scribbled down a few notes about its history from the information board back there. St Mary's was built by Bishop John Kay, the first bishop to reside at Riseholme Hall. Now he must have been a very rich man because he had the church built at his own expense. It was constructed in the 14th century style and was consecrated on the 17th of August 1851. Now I very much doubt that the church will be open, but let's go and have a look anyway. I just love these old oak arched church doors, so much character. Nice porch. I once spent the night in a church porch, not dissimilar to this one. Don't ask. Ah, this is interesting. It's the grave of former rector of Riseholme, and I think this design is a Celtic knot or a Trinity knot. Celtic symbol of strength and wisdom, although not sure. Right, let's find this ancient burial mound. Now, I have a feeling this is going to take quite some time, so hopefully I will see you there. Well, I'm on a hill above the church and there are several paths going in different directions and no signposts. However, I've just passed a couple of dog walkers and they told me that the path to the left leads to the burial mound. I think I can see it. It's up ahead on the left. And here it is. Now I love it when you go exploring the countryside and you find hidden gems like this. I didn't even know it existed. Fortunately, there's some information about it. I've been reading the information board and apparently the burial mound is Roman and not Neolithic, which is unusual because Roman barrows are quite rare. It goes on to say that in March 1935, gamekeeper Tom Morrison was digging here when he unearthed an urn containing human remains, and the curator of Lincoln Museum confirmed them to be from the Roman period. Now, the surrounding area has been excavated a few times over the years, and the most significant find occurred as recently in 2017 when a hoard of gold and silver coins were unearthed dating back to Roman times. The remains of a jar was found with the coins, and the copper straps attached to the jar had a dog's head decoration. There is also a mention of Ermine Street, which is now the present day A15. Now the route is 2,000 years old, so it must be one of the oldest roads in Britain. Now it's likely that in Saxon and Viking times the mound had great significance. Local tribesmen would gather here and the air would reverberate with the ceremonial clashing of swords and spears. Well, that was a lengthy but interesting detour, and now it's time to head back to the main road and do what I originally set out to do, and that's to find Nettleham Hall. Well, it's been about half an hour or so since I left the burial mound, and I've reached the end of Riseholme Road, and this should be Hall Lane. Here's hoping. Yes, well, I need to bear left, and the gates to Nettleham Hall are highly visible from the road. So here we are. The gates of Nettleham Hall. Now, there's some history about the gates, but I'll come back to those later. But I'm more interested at the moment in finding a way in. I've been told it's not hard. Just stepped over the barbed wire fence and moving along the path. And hopefully it should lead me to a ferocious guard dog. No, I shouldn't even joke about that. I can see the old lodge up ahead. This is probably where the groundkeeper or the gamekeeper once lived. As you can see, it's totally fenced off. But to be honest, I don't fancy going in there. I'm not brave enough to be an urban explorer. But I suppose, technically, I am urban exploring. Now I can see the hall, but I'm going to move from here pretty sharpish because there's a farmhouse just across the way and I'm totally visible here. I don't want to get kicked out now after coming so far. I've no desire to meet that vicious guard dog. Yes, I am invited. Now, I did some research on Nettleham Hall and sadly there's not much to know about it. It dates from the early 18th century and the hall burnt down in, I quote, mysterious circumstances in 1937. However, other sources claim that it burnt down in 1935. It's been abandoned and forgotten ever since, and you can see it's now just a shell. It was once the home of the Hood family, who were very popular and well respected in the area. And really, there's not much else to say. So, I think it's time we had a walk around. Now it's evident that it's only the plants and the ivy that are stopping some of these walls from collapsing completely. I'm amazed that after being left in this state for well over 80 years that there's anything of this place left at all. Now apparently there is supposed to be an underground system of tunnels. These were for the servants to move around the house. Now I don't know if that's true, but I do know that there is a cellar, and that's what I'm going to show you. That black hole is the entrance to a wine cellar. If you're expecting me to go down there, then you're going to be sadly disappointed. But if you want to see what the cellar looks like, then there are a couple of videos on YouTube made by far braver souls than I. It's hard to imagine what these rooms once looked like. All the people who once lived here, and all the dramas that were played out. There's the old fireplace. I don't know if you can make that out. The floors have long gone, but the fireplace remains. Not surprisingly, Nettleham Hall is reputed to be haunted. The ghost is said to be that of a former maid. Her indistinct, shadowy figure has been seen roaming the ruins of her once magnificent home. Well, that's about it. I think I've outstayed my welcome. Enter freely, go safely, and leave something of the happiness you bring. There's a quote for you. One final look at Nettleham Hall. That's not quite everything. I'll tell you about the gates if I can find my way out of here. Three dubiously stained mattresses. Don't remember seeing those on the way in.
Now, I mentioned earlier that not an awful lot is known about Nettleham Hall. More is known about these gates. They were designed by Francis or William Smith in around 1720, and they came from St Peter at the Archers, a church that once stood on Lincoln High Street that was demolished in 1856. The gates were then purchased by John Hood, and it became the entrance to the once grand Nettleham Hall. Well, that's it. We've seen Nettleham Hall, and I've got a long walk back home, and as usual, I'm not going to take you along on that one. But thanks for joining me as always, and I hope to see you again very soon.